Hey family, what's up? Welcome back. Thank you for stopping by. It's your neighborhood coach, Coach Ben. I am here to provide you with practical support tools. I make it a point to tell you that I am a working class life coach and behavioral health clinician because what I'm bringing you is not my opinion. It is clinical work that's done with clients. It is proven to be effective if we put it into effect. So, I want to tackle a few topics and a few subjects as we work through these shows, if you will. And the first one that I talked about was buckets. If you watch the other video, it's being able to really prioritize your emotions. It's being able to identify what is the most impacted thing happening in your life and applying it to its appropriate bucket, right? And being able to manage what you can control and surrender to what you cannot. So if you didn't watch it, go watch it. It's good. It's practical work. I always get positive response back when clients actually apply the theory of buckets. So go watch it. But this one is tagging on to that because we're talking about emotionals. We're talking about emotions, and emotionals is the right word, I guess, because all too often we sometimes say to each other, or all the time, you're so emotional, or I don't want to be emotional, as if being emotional is a negative thing, and it isn't. So what I want to work on with you today is identifying how to embrace emotions, but more importantly, how to place them, right? So before we talked about buckets, now we're going to talk about placement of emotions because I believe, and this is my belief, this isn't taken from any scripture or any religious principle, but it is just my belief. You can agree. If you don't, that's fine too, but it is my belief that emotions are the gift that God give us to navigate through life, right? So think about it. Grief is an emotion. When we lose people, instead of leaning into the grief, we have a tendency to try to do everything to cover it, to move past it. I had someone one time, I'll never tell names, but thought that they were dealing with everything but grief. Called it depression, called it anger. And I said, yeah, those are symptoms. But when I found out that they lost a dear loved one, I said, let's call this thing what it is. This is grief. You're in deep mourning. And let's apply the appropriate emotion to the appropriate situation. That's what we need to do, right? So think about your life and where you go. I'm so emotional, or I don't want to be emotional at all. The being so emotional, I think, is almost better than not being emotional at all. Because if you fear your emotions, you're telling on yourself. What you're revealing is, I don't know how to place these emotions. I don't know what to do with them. So if you went through a breakup, you will experience heartache, and crying is necessary. Men, right? It's necessary. That's what we're given to purge the heartbreak, the pain, to support us in letting it out. Do you understand what I'm saying to you here? Right? So when kids fall and scrape their knee, it hurts, it burns, it's bloody. Moms, stop telling your sons, stop crying, stop being a sissy. He's not being a sissy. He's responding to the pain of a scraped, burning, bloody knee, right? That is the appropriate emotion. When you tell them not to respond to it and show up and be stoic and pretend that it's not there and be tough, don't be mad in 20 years when that's the same attitude he gives his girlfriend, his wife, or his husband, whatever, right? Because that's what you trained and supported. You said, swallow what you feel, don't express what you feel. So then you train them up with the inability to be able to express emotions and how they feel, right? And it's okay. You can express how you feel and also acknowledge that it's just a feeling. We'll get into that in another video, right? But I want you to all sit back and go, let me take a breath, right? What am I so emotional about? I'm at work. My boss is pissing me off, right? Pissing me off. So the emotion that's coming out is anger. But is anger the most appropriate emotion to use in the workplace, right? Because y'all gonna make me act a fool up in here. I don't know if that's the most appropriate place. So you can acknowledge that you're feeling emotional and that the emotion is anger, but then how do you want to channel that, right? How do you want to manage that? Think it through. Chances are you're angry because you and your manager don't share the same work ethic or the same work value, right? Or even the same time management criteria. So it's identifying what is pissing me off and making me angry. So then I can apply the most appropriate emotion, the most appropriate tool to deal with this. So think about emotions as tools. Get out a piece of paper, right? Or your phone. Get out a piece of paper and your phone and write down your emotional toolkit, right? Your emotional toolkit are the tools that you use to show up in any moment. So because I deal with a lot of married couples, most of my married couples, my wives tell me he shuts down. He stops communicating when there's conflict or misunderstanding. That's his toolkit. That's what he's pulling from his toolkit. Shutdown is ineffective, right? When you're in something that you need to grow up with another person. But that's what we're pulling from. Sometimes I'll testify. One of mine is humor. I overjoke, according to everybody. I play too much sometimes. I can admit that, but that's what I pull from is humor, right? To cover up or to soften the real emotion. So write down your go-to. What do you go to when you think about your emotional toolkit? So think about if someone was coming to your house and you need them to hang some pictures in your house, right? The expectation, you're not going to do it. You're paying them to do it. But you know, in order for them to do that, they need what? A hammer and some nails. If they pull out a chainsaw and they're about to take a chainsaw to your wall, you're going to flip the hell out. Like, what the F are you doing? Right? Inappropriate tool. That tool is not for that job. I told you to hang some artwork, right? I got some tree branches that need to be cut down in the backyard, but that's inappropriate. So I want you, first step, first practical life coaching tool. Stop saying they're so emotional. I'm so emotional. I don't know what to do with my emotions. And identify how to manage your emotions and understand that that's what God gave us to navigate this crazy world, right? So I'm angry at what's happening politically, right? So it's time for you to take that anger and rise up. Don't sit at home and be mad or cuss people out on the internet. Rise up into something positive. Pour yourself into the community, the people, the political thing that needs you, that you're most passionate about. Do you hear what I'm saying to you? You get it? You got it? Good. If you got any questions, come on down in the comments. right? Let me know what you're thinking, what you're feeling, but stop running away from your emotions. It's your gift. It's how you navigate the insanity of this planet. So lean into them, use them appropriately, right? Victory is an emotion for me. I always proclaim, affirm, profess victory, right? So, as your neighborhood life coach, how do I support your leap into victory? I love you. I'll see you soon.